What's cooking, everybody? Dave Altezzi here with
Connor McCaskill.
And today we're talking about the gear that we use.
Yeah.
It's the end of the year, and we thought it would be a great idea to show you guys what gear we use for this channel.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna break up our gear into three main categories: what we use for production, what we use in post-production, and our live streaming kits.
By no means are these the only items that you can use if you want to start a YouTube channel.
But these are the items that we use on a daily basis that make the KinoTika channel function.
At least for now.
Until we get something else that we like better.
Every item that we're going to list is linked down in the description below, so if you are interested in buying one of these products, please consider buying it using our affiliate link. It comes at no cost to you, and it really helps show your support to our channel. So let's get started with production. All right, so we're starting off here with Connor's kit. What bag do we have here?
I use, for now, the Lowepro 250 Fastpack camera bag. It is a great bag, it has tons of compartments: top compartment, front compartment, main camera compartment, front pouch as well for other stuff. I use it to hold my computer charger. All around, great pack. It's really not that expensive. I think I paid, what, 90 bucks on Amazon? Something like that. Super cheap, great, just everyday backpack. I do want something bigger eventually, but for what we do, this is perfect. My main camera, of course, is the Canon EOS M50. I absolutely love this little guy. It's compact, it's easy to use. This is a lovely camera to lug around, and as you can see, it takes up like no space in my backpack at all. So my lenses that I use, I have the 22mm prime EF-M on here. You can fit this thing in your sweatshirt pocket and it's not gonna take up any space at all. If you're wondering what this little ring is on my camera, it is a step-up ring. It takes it from a 43mm filter thread up to a 72mm filter thread so that I can put these Tiffen ND filters on my camera. So if I get any other bigger lenses, I don't have to buy multiple ND filters to fit all the different lenses that I have. For a mic, I use actually this little Movo mic. It is comparable to the Rode Video Micro. Actually, this one's a little bit louder, so it works better with some Canon cameras because the preamps aren't very good. So inside you have the mic itself and a little dead cat wind reducer. For my drone of choice, I have the Mavic 2 Zoom drone. I really like this little guy. Quality isn't as good as the Mavic 2 Pro, but it is still really good for YouTube, which is what I do. So I really like this guy, it's super versatile. As for my tripod, I am a hiker. I like to travel light. So I actually got the BeFree Manfrotto tripod. Goes right on my backpack, it's perfect. And this is just kind of a me thing. I collect Nalgene bottles. This was my first one. It's just a cool way for me to keep track of places I've been, like the Soda Parlor from Nashville, and then this one, Germany. It's just a cool thing that I do. They're super rugged. You know, these things aren't gonna break. It's great. I don't know what to say. It holds water.
All right, so now it's my turn. First off, this bag here is a bag that's been in my life for a very long time. I think like 6 years now. This is the Airport Security V2, but I freaking love this bag. If you see any working photographers specifically running around the airport, they probably have this bag. The wheels are butter smooth when you walk through the airport. It's kind of insane how smooth they are. It's kind of like, it feels like a rollerblade. They look like rollerblade wheels. The handle here like just works so fluidly. I can't tell you how many times I've flown with this thing. It just fits everything I need. As far as cameras go on KinoTika, they change all the time. In fact, right now we're shooting on the Nikon Z6 with the kit lens 24-70 f4. And we've actually really found that we like it a lot. However, we do actually have an EOS R that needs to be sent into Canon because it doesn't work. That's right, it's completely broken. I don't really recommend this camera to anyone unless you're a Canon shooter. If you own a bunch of Canon EF lenses, this is the best mirrorless option right now. And even in the 4K mode, the crop really isn't that bad, especially if you buy a lens like this, the 17-55 f2.8 with IS. This lens with the adapter on the EOS R is a great pair for 4K video. So next is this really handy, tiny little LED light. You may have seen this light all over YouTube with people who are talking about the aperture version of this. This version is made by GVB Gear. It's the GVB PL12. I bought this off of B&H during a flash sale. It was $29.99. I don't think it's that cheap anymore, but it's a great deal and it's super versatile. It's very small. It comes with a little hot shoe mount that you can put on your camera. It plugs in over USB micro so you can charge it. The battery life is pretty good, and when we're on shoots, when it gets super dark, we want to stay super lightweight. This is the light that we use. So for audio, we've been using these little RØDE SmartLavs now for over a year, and surprisingly, we haven't seen a reason to switch. It is kind of annoying having to record separately and then sync it in post, but because Final Cut has a sync feature built in, it's pretty easy to do. Unfortunately, both of the phones that we have are iPhone 10, so we can't use the headphone jack anymore, so we have to use the little dongle that Apple makes here. But once you get the dongle on there, you just plug it straight into your iPhone, use an app like the Rode Link, or in our case, we use an app called Ferrite, and we just record the audio directly onto the phone. What's great is because we use Macintosh computers, we can airdrop the files directly from the phone to the computer. Look at this. This is way better than carrying a wireless lav with you everywhere. That's it. That's our audio kit. Super small. The drone of choice that I like to use is the Mavic 2 Pro. It has a better camera and a better sensor inside of it, made by Hasselblad. This is a 1-inch sensor inside the Mavic 2 Pro. We've done a couple reviews on both of these Mavics. Connor has the zoom, I have the Pro. But honestly, I find that the image quality on this outweighs the versatility of the zoom, because you can always just fly closer and get a closer shot. And while we're on the topic of DJI, our newest addition is the new Osmo Pocket, which of course, if you've seen any of our recent videos, we've talked a lot about. The Osmo Pocket is going to have a solid place in our little kit here. The Osmo Pocket does 4K at 60 frames per second, 120 frames per second, slow motion in 1080, and the face tracking, autofocus, and even audio now has been improved with firmware, so we really have no hesitation to pull out the Osmo Pocket when we're in a run and gun situation. So for $350, you really can't beat the Osmo Pocket. And for lighting with Kinetica, we are only using 2 lights at the moment. This one is from Yongnuo. I learned about this from Caleb Pike. We call it the lightsaber light because it looks like a lightsaber. And what's great about it is it's super small, it's really lightweight. You can power it with a Sony L-mount battery, but we have it plugged in with an adapter here. But what's great about it is you can actually change the color temperature like so. So now we have daylight, and then I can just change it, now it's tungsten. Or you can have both, and it's like a blend of both, and it's super bright. But what's really fun about this light is you do have RGB control, so you can do red, blue, and green colors. So we'll use this every once in a while when we're doing a product shot to get kind of an interesting aesthetic. It's really nice to have the ability to do that. This does have a little orange tray here, but I've never used it. I don't know why it's there. Our main light, however, is brand new. We just got it. It's about $300. It's made by Menik. We got it because Caleb Pike recommended it, and it's super versatile. Again, it's really heavy duty. We've got this nice little controller for it, and you can do the same kind of thing where you can control your color temperature. As you can see, it's all the way down to 2700, and now I'm going all the way up to daylight. It's super bright, I know, but we can control the brightness very finely, and it's a really great versatile light. What's really cool is not only is it just a normal LED panel here, but once you take it off of the mount here, it's totally flexible. So you can use this in really any circumstance that you can imagine. I mean, you could wrap it around something, you could have somebody hold it, you could gaff tape it to the wall. This light is very versatile, and not only is it just attached to a light stand, but you can pretty much stick it anywhere and roll it up into any configuration that you want. And last but not least is the main tripod that we use for this channel. We do use Connor's little tripod when we're in a run and gun situation, but when we have the time and we have the ability to bring my big tripod, we use this giant Manfrotto tripod. Now this thing is not cheap by any means. It was, I think, about $1,600 when I bought it, but believe it or not, I've had this now for about 8 years. The problem with a lot of cheaper tripods is they don't go high enough, and you want to always shoot down on your subjects because it's always a little bit more flattering. This fluid head here is the best that you can get from Manfrotto. This thing is super smooth. The ball head is essential. I think if you're gonna buy a tripod, make sure that it has a ball head. Not having a ball head when you're a video shooter is the worst because you're always adjusting your legs, going up and down, trying to balance the thing, and it's just a big pain in the butt. You drop your rig, it goes all over the place. As you can see right now, it's off axis. All I gotta do is look at the bubble, change the ball head, and boom. The camera is level. Even though the legs are not level, the camera is level. So having fluid control like this actually can give you shots that look very, very professional. We use this all the time. Instead of a slider, we find that this is actually just as good to get B-roll of objects. A tripod is really the only tool you actually need if you're a videographer, and this one from Manfrotto, even though it's expensive, will last you your entire career. So moving on to post-production.
Yes, post-production. This is where the magic happens, or at least the rest of the magic happens. For my computer, I actually just updated to the 2018 MacBook Pro, 16 gigs of RAM, 256 of solid state. Could have got a bigger one, but this one was like way on sale. It is so much faster than my old computer. Absolutely love it.
In terms of post-production, for me, I'm kind of funny. I have a 13-inch MacBook Pro from 2016. That's right. This is an old computer, and it is by no means the top-of-the-line MacBook. In fact, not only is it only a 2016 MacBook 13-inch, this is the non-touch bar version, which means I only have 2 USB-C ports, 2 right here, and then a headphone jack over here. You don't need to have the top-of-the-line stuff all the time. This right here proves my point to people. We have a full-time YouTube channel. I make a full-time living making videos, and I use a $1,000 MacBook Pro. A lot of people hate Macs because they're too expensive. Well, guess what? If you use Final Cut Pro, you can buy the cheapest Mac available, even the MacBook Air, and honestly, get away with it. Of course, I'm not gonna have very fast export times. That's one of the big downsides with this computer is it takes, like an hour to export a big project sometimes, whereas on Connor's machine, it'll take 5 to 10 minutes. I kinda like the idea of using a crappy machine for high production work. Jack White, who's one of my favorite artists of all time, uses really crappy guitars and makes them sound really good. So in a way, this is me being Jack White.
Keep it guitars that are, the neck's a little bit bent and it's a little bit out of tune, and I want to work and battle it and conquer it and make it express whatever attitude I have at that moment. I want it to be a struggle.
Myself and actually Dave picked up this SanDisk solid state.
Connor and I both use the same type of hard drives, and I can't reiterate this enough. This is the way to go. Buy your SSDs completely naked like this. It's way cheaper. It's super fast, normal SSD speeds. You just buy extra one of these and you just keep this adapter here. Just pop them in, USB-C, or if you have an older computer, you can buy one of these that goes to standard USB as well. So unfortunately, the USB-C world that we live in with Macintosh laptops doesn't have SD card readers anymore. So this one here is the one that I recommend, made by Verbatim, I think is what it's called. It's UHS-2 speed for SD card, and you also have the ability to plug in a micro SD card as well, so you don't have to have that little adapter all the time. And what's really cute is the little USB-C port right here. It just pops in and out. It's really compact, and I highly recommend this tiny little adapter. It solves the problem of the USB-C world with no SD card trays anymore. Have you ever been to an Apple store and then they clean your laptop and it looks brand new? Well, I figured out what stuff they're using at the Apple store. It's called iKlear. I think they might have changed it now to a different system. It might be a proprietary company, but iKlear is a company that makes these little sprays here. It just sprays like that, and you put it on your screen and you use a cloth, and it perfectly cleans your screen. I used to use Windex and stuff, and never use Windex. It destroys the anti-reflective coating on the display. So if you get a bunch of fingerprints on your display, you want to use this stuff from iKlear.
As for my headphones, these are what I use to edit most of the time, if I can help it. They're Audio-Technica. Actually, Marcus Brownlee was the one who turned me on to these, MKBHD. So yeah, super comfortable, by the way. I really like them. In addition to these, which I really do love, if I don't want to lug these things around, because they're kind of big, they take up a lot of space, I actually just use AirPods. Actually, Dave gave these to me for a gift. Thanks, Dave. It's 15 minutes to charge and like 3 hours of battery life with constant use. Absolutely amazing, especially for the price. Apple just makes good products.
As far as audio, I use this one from Bose. I find that this is the most comfortable headset I've ever used. It's because I have a huge head, and almost all headphones that I've used in the past just push too much into my head. I have a serious problem with this. These headphones are nice and light, and they just kind of rest over your ears nicely. There's no pressure going in. And because I wear glasses, it's another problem with other headphones is it's just pushing in on my glasses stem. It's just awful. So these are really light and comfortable. They're made by Bose. There's a wireless version. And then last but not least is our live streaming setup. You like our top-down shot? Hey, hey, hey. This is the box that we use for live streaming. We got recommended this AV.io box from our friend Caleb Pike, who we feel has the best live streams in the game. I got the 4K one to future-proof ourselves, but they do make an HD one if you're only doing HD. This box right here is all you need to feed your footage from your camera to your machine. In terms of taking the footage from your camera to your computer, it's just an HDMI cable, but everything about this cable is really nice. I've been using these for years. It's kind of one of the best kept secrets in the industry as one of the better HDMI cables available. So these are pretty cheap and they're really rugged. I've had them forever and I use them to connect all sorts of things. The camera that we're shooting on right now uses a mini HDMI port, so we have this little adapter here. I have these little BongoTies here because we use these all the time for live streaming. All these cables dangling everywhere and pulling on the HDMI port on the camera is always really bad. So I like to use these little BongoTies to attach the cable to the tripod so that it has a little bit of slack instead of just pulling down all the time and shorting out your HDMI. If you kind of give it some slack like this, attach the bongo tie to your tripod, it doesn't yank on the camera's HDMI port. And lastly, for audio with our live streaming, we like to use the Blue Yeti microphone. It just plugs in over USB. There's a old-fashioned USB port here on the bottom. Believe it or not, this has been one of the most reliable pieces that we've used. We bought two of them and we were thinking that me and Connor would use two separate mics so that it would sound better, but we had problems with the syncing in post and with the live stream, so we're down to just one now and we only use one. This thing is great. This one pickup pattern that we're in right now is the best. It basically blocks everything out that's coming from here and picks up everything that's coming from the sides and the front, which is exactly what we need because I sit on the left and then Connor sits on the right and we talk, and this one microphone picks both of us up very well. And then as far as software goes, we do use a free program called OBS. That's what we use for all of our live streaming. It works really well. We haven't really utilized it to its fullest because you can actually add multiple layers, different video effects, sound effects, multiple microphones, multiple cameras even, and it's totally free, totally open sourced. If you want to get into live streaming, let us know in the comment section below and maybe we'll do a more in-depth tutorial on how to live stream. So that about does it for our gear review. We hope you enjoyed it. All the products that we listed are linked in the description below, and if you do buy that product using our link, we do get a small commission at no fee to you, so we greatly appreciate that if you do decide to buy any of the products that we recommended. Once again, I'm Dave Altizer.
I'm Connor McCaskill.
And this is a lot of shit.